Sayfullo Saipov is the suspect in the New York terror case that left 8 dead. He's been in the U.S. for 7 years, but he's originally from Uzbekistan. That has put a spotlight on this little-known country in Central Asia. We talked to Ed Lemon, who's perhaps the foremost expert on extremism in this region. We wanted him to help us understand why this part of the world has become one of the largest exporters of ISIS extremists, and what Saipov's upbringing in Uzbekistan may have had to do with him allegedly turning to terrorism. Lemon's first response is that it likely didn't.
Reports indicate that he did not grow up in a particularly religious family. He did not attend a mosque as a child. He grew up in what his neighbors described as a secular family. The process of radicalization, the process by which he became a sympathizer and inspired to commit this act of terrorism, seemingly happened after he came to the United States.
Lemon has been studying the region for over 10 years. He thinks it's important to clear up misconceptions and to understand exactly how young men like Saipov have been radicalized in the era of the Islamic State.
Central Asia as a hotbed of extremism is a sort of trope that's been thrown around for many decades, but the vast majority of people are recruited outside of the region.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
In 2014, ISIS called on its followers to make the journey to Syria and to join the caliphate. For Central Asians, Lemon says that journey typically begins in Russia, not in their home countries. Many young men from the region go to Russia to work in labor camps and send money to their families because of poor economic opportunities at home. Lemon says that it's here in Russia that ISIS recruits Central Asians.
We see a process by which they leave home, by which they feel somehow marginalized in a society which is openly xenophobic, often openly anti-Muslim, and this is certainly something that's being picked up in the messaging of these groups, telling them, why are you working for these non-believers? Why are you putting up with being sort of the underclass of society? Why not come to the caliphate?
But ISIS's directives to its followers changed once it was losing its foothold in Mosul. We can see that from a speech by ISIS's leader exactly 1 year ago. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi calls for so-called martyrdom seekers to create rivers of blood. That same month, the November 2016 issue of the ISIS propaganda magazine Rumia called for the style of attack that Saipov used, driving a truck into a place where there would be many pedestrians for maximum damage. According to the criminal complaint, Saipov told federal prosecutors he was trying to do exactly that, kill as many people as possible, and that he felt good about the outcome. He also said that he was inspired in particular by a propaganda video in which al-Baghdadi asks what Muslims are doing to avenge deaths in Iraq.
Central Asia itself has not produced many terrorist incidents within its own borders. Most of these processes of recruitment are happening outside of the region. And so extreme vetting, for example, doesn't necessarily pick up on some of the risk factors and some of the processes that will happen after people migrate.